What's going on, Jabronis? Welcome to another episode of Jabroni Sports. Hey. It's been a while.
It's lit.
I am your host, AJ Firstenau. You can find me on most forms of social media at AJ FUERSTENAU. I am joined today by
Gonzo. You can catch me online at Gonzo1323 at most forms of social media.
Also joining us in studio and producing is the one, the only,
at GBabyLaFleur.
And joining us remotely this evening as the responsibilities of fatherhood call is
at Trey Montuano, TREMANTUANO. That's for you, Gonzo.
Oh, bars.
How we doing, fellas?
I'm good. It's going to be hard to correlate. There might be a little spaces here because we can't point at each other.
That's true.
But I'm doing good. Just quick shameless little plug. We're doing another podcast currently called Jabroni Wrestling. And if you guys get a chance, check that one out. It's pretty fun. A lot of talking bullshit.
And I'd be remiss if we didn't point out, too, not joining us this evening, and miss dearly, is the one, the only Brian Silky Enthusiast. So, Silky, we miss you. We'll see you soon. All right. So, what's going on, guys?
Not much. How about, I think we should start with the dad of the year over here.
What's Trey, dad, father of the year?
I'm just pissed off I'm not playing kickball with Silky.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a thing, that you could just
I
play
didn't get the
kickball as
invite.
an adult.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but yeah, Silky is not joining us tonight because he had prior kickball obligations.
Yeah.
I
thought I was in third grade when I got that text. Like, is this on my AOL Instant Messenger?
I assume it's a serious league. There's got to be some scratch on the table or something at the
His
very
away message says, "Be back soon," though.
Is that what it said?
Yeah.
Be back soon, Silky. And then it was like Silky Hearts, and then it was like somebody's initials, but
And
you
then
didn't
he
know
did
who.
like the Now Playing, and he had like Genuine Pony. I was
Oh, well, of course. I mean, it's always playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like the anthem. Come on now. Congratulations on the sex, guy. I mean, geez. Yeah. Oh, man.
Don't have sound effects, so we make our own.
That's we're balling on a budget. We got to make do, okay?
Do what we can.
Gotta
What we do.
Do the best we can with what we got, man. That's all you can do in life. So,
Oh, Leo's first appearance on the podcast.
Yeah.
What up, Leo?
Yeah,
How you doing?
shouts out. There's our fourth member for the evening.
His
Absolutely.
career starts really early.
That's true. I mean, hopefully this gets big enough so this can be like an IMDb credit or something
or
at
hopefully
some
he
point.
just gets big enough. And
As a person?
Yeah.
Like as a fully sized human being?
no, I just meant like popular enough.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, he's Trey's kid. He's gonna be huge.
I hope he gets bigger too.
Yeah. It's,
Johnny, you sounded super creepy.
Oh, he's really getting into it. You guys are making fun of him. He's kind of getting upset.
Yep.
We're not making fun of him. I just hope he gets more popular than we are.
Yeah, and I just hope that he becomes larger than he is now, because it'd be a horrible life to be stuck as the size of a baby for your entire life.
It's okay. I put on Ricky Davis highlights.
Okay, well, perfect.
Settles down anyone.
Yeah, that calms me. I watch those every night. Right now, he's
made it
like
worse.
he's
Made it
saying his first words are going to be Ricky Davis triple double. It's gonna be amazing.
Oh man, never forget.
It's every father's dream, actually.
All right, Johnny, go ahead and mute me.
Get him out of here.
All right, so I'm just gonna throw this out to the wind. Someone that some people know told me today that I'm not giving free publicity. That Draymond Green is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Draymond Green. I feel like this is a premature debate to have in any case.
But right now, it's the debate that we're having. I didn't want to have it, but it was thrown out there.
This is true.
I would say that maybe in the future he can be a Hall of Famer.
Right now, though,
now he's not.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Correct.
You have to average double-digit points to be a Hall of Famer. You have to have some statistical
He doesn't
category.
average double-digit points?
For his career, Draymond Green averages 9.1 points per game.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
That's pretty low.
Seven rebounds and 4.6 assists.
This season alone, he averaged 11 points per game.
Big year.
Yep.
That's a big year.
It's like 11, 7, and 7. So yeah, Draymond gets a lot of love from the the grit and grind fan base of the NBA.
I mean, I'll say this: Draymond is a good player and he does his job well. Of course, he's not going to score that much when you got those other guys on the team.
I just don't like Draymond because he's dirty as fuck.
And I hate Draymond because he's dirty. And I saw him do some interviews on TNT, and he seems like a kind of likable guy. And then you
When
start.
he's not, back at Michigan or Michigan State trying to fight people.
Yeah, and then you see him on the court, and it's like, wow, he's a really decent player. And then you see he does one of those dirty fucking shit again, and
He's
then
like,
I hate him again.
I would have way more respect and not mind arguing for Draymond if he didn't do that shit. But you also have to think, who's the people that vote you into the Hall of Fame?
Sports writers.
What is sports writers' opinion of Draymond? Not very high.
Yeah, that's a really fair point, actually.
Like, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, well, you know what? Hell of a ball player, great guy. Like, you don't want to say that factors in, but subconsciously or not, it factors in.
Yeah, I think that's super true because most of your peers, if not you yourself, have probably written negative articles about Draymond at some point.
Exactly.
It's been pretty hard not to. I mean, he had the multiple. Isn't it amazing that after he got suspended for it, magically he stopped kicking people in the groin?
It's weird.
Apparently, it wasn't part of his shooting motion anymore. Because that was the argument, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
That was just his natural shooting, like his shooting motion. They happened to get in the way.
all right, we're gonna go back to Trey now. Let's see if the.
We're gonna hop back in.
Oh, Dad, we got the live Dad.
What is this, like breaking a lot? Yeah, are we on the news? Like, hey, now heading back.
Now we're heading to a live Dad.
Back to Casa de Montuano. Trey, how are things going over there?
I don't know. I don't think I have any beer left.
Oh no, Trey's running out of beer.
We want your opinion on Draymond.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Draymond's definitely a dirtbag, 100%.
Hall of Famer?
Draymond Green, Hall of Famer.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, he would be completely irrelevant on any other team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about completely irrelevant necessarily, but
Unless you're a good coach team, unless you have one of the top 5 coaches in the league, you're useless.
yeah, and you have to have a roster where he can get away with having that role and like still being one of your 35
But,
minute
yeah,
enough
slow
guys.
ass
Yeah, I
three.
really don't even know with any other coach in the NBA. I don't know what team he would work with.
Brad
even with a
Stevens would
great
figure it
coach.
out.
Maybe Popovich.
Yeah,
Pop-
I think Pop and Stevens
I
come to mind
don't
pretty quickly.
think
Pop
Pop's
and
teams
Stevens,
matter anymore, man.
That's fair. This is kind of to just tangent off of that really quickly. But I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Pop in
Trader.
particular, and they made the point that like a lot of the great like some of the like Phil Jackson and Steve Kerr, a lot of people knock them for having these teams with this incredible amount of talent, and it's a fair argument. However, the counter argument to that is always that those coaches are really good at managing personalities. Mm-hmm. That when you have all these big egos and all these superstars on the same team, that sometimes it's hard to keep that in line, and that those coaches have done a good job of that. The counter to that would be that Popovich was pretty much blessed by having 2 generational superstars that didn't need any sort of management or any of that behavior. We've seen in recent years, Pop has struggled handling LaMarcus Aldridge. He's like Tony Parker was an issue. As well as Kawhi Leonard, he's had trouble. Like
He's building a Kawhi,
so,
obviously.
I think is Pop a guy who's just who's a better X's and O's guys and maybe not as good at managing the personalities? Is that something that would be fair to say? Like, is that something that we overlook sometimes for coaches?
I think it's more a product of it's hard to be in the same position for as long as Pop has been. Like, you talk about these other great coaches. The first name you brought up was Phil Jackson. How many teams did Phil Jackson win championships on? 2.
Yeah.
Phil won it on 2 different... He did his thing with the Bulls, out, and then he did his thing with the Lakers, out. And then... we don't want to talk about that. But...
Let's talk about the Bull.
I think it's really hard to be a coach. How long has he been a coach there? Like 20 plus years.
Yeah, he's been a coach there since the early to mid 90s, I think is what it was.
So
yeah.
at least 20 years.
Yeah.
He's been the head coach of the Spurs. Like, you get in a certain way and you're like, man, like, guys should respect me. They know what I do. They know my pedigree. And, like, I don't want to, like, and I think he deserves that. I don't think we know anything about the Kawhi situation, really, if it's Pop. It's all hush-hush. We know just about as much about Kawhi as we know about Andrew Luck, who's throwing today.
Yeah.
I think this is just an argument to try to find a way that Pop isn't the greatest head coach of all time. And I think it's a ridiculous argument, and I think he is the greatest coach of all time, and I don't think he has a problem managing superstars at all.
Anyway, I was moving on. I was going to say that he had no problem, or that the Marcus Aldridge problem he admitted that he fixed. Tony Parker is Tony Parker. And, like, I think everyone else he's made into not superstars, but he's got a lot of fucking people paid that aren't good. You can't do that just being a guy.
Yeah, that's true. But those are the people that aren't superstars, is what we were talking about.
Yep. I'd say those second rounders and those Euro guys. Those are the type of personalities.
So the only superstar that you can for sure say that, like, because Pop had an issue with Marcus Aldridge for a year or two, and then they figured it out. Not even.
It seems that way. Yeah.
So I don't know if I really count that one.
What, LaMarcus Aldridge?
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, Tony Parker. I don't know what Tony Parker's done where he couldn't manage him.
I disagree with that one. I think he's always had.
He's a little bit of a hothead, but I think that's the person he is. I mean,
yeah. I'll say I know they've had disagreements. They've traded barbs publicly through the media in the past, but yeah. I mean, like,
and you're saying that Phil Jackson never went toe to toe with one of his players, getting in arguments and stuff.
He wouldn't go toe to toe with Mike. Mike would have punched him.
Yeah,
like he did Steve Kerr.
He did punch Steve Kerr. But Steve Kerr wasn't his coach; he was his player. So.
Still,
his fellow player.
And no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I think that there's perhaps a skill set when it comes to managing that many egos.
When it comes to that, I do think Phil has the upper hand on Popovich, just by a little bit. But overall, Popovich is still the greatest coach.
But I think Pop is better at damn near everything else.
Yeah, probably. We're not arguing with you here.
Yeah, I was going to say, he said Pop's the greatest coach in his opinion, so
right.
I think Pop would have to be better at the other things.
Yeah, Trey, what do you think? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Any thoughts and any weigh in on the coaching debate?
I think Phil Jackson's highly overrated.
Oh, lots of people think that.
Yeah, I think Pop's a better coach than Phil Jackson.
Who would your number 2 be then? Red Auerbach?
Well, first of all, I think my number 1 would be Brad Stevens overall over Pop.
All time.
I can't say Brad Stevens.
Wait, Brad Stevens all time?
Not all time. I'm saying right now in the NBA.
Okay.
I like Brad Stevens.
I think we're looking at it through more of a historical lens, so I was a little taken aback. I was like,
yeah, Phil Jackson's not currently coaching.
Brad Stevens is the greatest coach of all time. I don't know if I can go there.
It's a little bit early for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think let him get a ring first, maybe. But
why don't you let him have a midlife crisis first?
Yeah, let him live a little.
36 years old.
Yeah, he's out there. He's younger than half his team.
Of all time, man, that's tough. I have to do some more research.
That's fair.
What about Don Nelson?
What about Danny Don Nelson? His teams
I don't know. I'd have to smoke a joint with him first.
Yeah, that's true.
That'd be great.
He's got his own.
He's turned it into a robot.
Well, he has his own.
His mic keeps going. His quality's going downhill.
He has his own strain now. I don't know. I'm sure you're aware of that. But yeah, Don Nelson, his own dispensary, all that fun stuff. So let's.
Talking about the Bulls. Talking about the Jordan Bulls. I heard an argument the other day. Well, actually, I hear it all the time. The LeBron versus Jordan argument.
I hate this debate so much, but please, yeah.
Okay, so somebody was obviously saying Jordan's the best, and they were comparing Jordan's teams to LeBron's teams. And Jordan's teams were so good, people don't understand that when Jordan left, they went Game 7 of the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. They were that good. They're a few ball bounces away from being in the finals. And now people are comparing Jordan to Bron, saying Bron should win this. But think about if Bron's team didn't have the Cavs didn't have LeBron.
Yeah, Kevin Love would be their best player.
Yeah,
would they even make the playoffs?
No.
In the East,
I don't think so. I don't think they would be. I don't think they're better than the Wizards because that was who the 8th seed was this year. I don't think they're better than the Bucks. I don't think they're better than the Pacers. I don't think they're.
No, go the other way though.
What do you mean?
Who are the teams that didn't make the playoffs?
Oh, behind them, I think they're right there with Charlotte. Oof. I think they're like right in
there.
I
don't think they're better than Charlotte.
That's what I was gonna say. You said ugh. I was like, exactly. I was like, they're right
Charlotte
there.
Charlotte played well this year.
Yeah, Charlotte wasn't horrible.
No, they weren't bad.
They're better. Like the Cavs are better than the Hawks.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. They're better. They wouldn't be like they'd be in hell. They'd be in basketball hell. Mm-hmm. The Cavs would get like the 9th pick.
So now when people do that Jordan versus LeBron argument, let's just keep this in mind. Because people are arguing like LeBron's been in the finals so many times, only won it 3 times. So crazy stat, he can't get it done. Then just think about what I said here.
Let's just do this because I don't want to.
Jordan had the players around him.
I don't want to express what side I'm on. All I want to say is let's just judge them differently because they were completely different players
in different eras.
I'm cool with judging players for different eras, but if I'm going to compare LeBron to someone, it's Magic Johnson.
In terms of like a guy who did everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I'm going to compare him to. Kobe, you compare to Mike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, Bill Russell.
Hey, do I sound like a robot to you guys? Because you guys sound like robots to me.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Yeah, you do.
Robot City, bitch.
Yeah. Just a little robotics.
But
the thing about LeBron, though, is LeBron could have 59 and 7, and it could be the 50th 9 and 7 that you ever heard about in your life. It's like, oh, LeBron had a good game. He had 50.
Yeah.
But like when Jordan would go off for 40 plus, it'd be like, oh, Jordan's amazing. He's the greatest player to ever live.
Mm-hmm.
But if you talk about LeBron going for 30 or more, it's like, oh yeah, that's LeBron. That's just what he does.
But
He's a flopper.
Yeah, if LeBron has like 35, 10, and 5, people are like, he didn't do enough.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron needs to do more. Like, sure, I guess, technically, but...
Let me put a new spin on this argument. If LeBron was first, like LeBron played in the 90s and Jordan was playing now, do you think we would be having this debate?
I think Jordan would still be the best in the league right now.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I would agree with you. I'm just saying I don't know if we would have the hype that we have for Jordan, because you got to understand, Jordan was everything. Mm-hmm. Jordan was sneakers, McDonald's commercials, fucking every Olympic. Like, Jordan was every fucking where. LeBron is, but like I feel like Jordan was more a product of a lot of people's first real experience with basketball.
Hold on. Are we talking about like his advertisements and stuff? Or are we talking on the
Everything.
court?
Everything. The whole total package.
We're saying like butterfly effect. If you replace LeBron James' timeline directly with Michael Jordan, like you just plugged in one player for the other. LeBron is now a guy on the original Dream Team. LeBron is a guy with the McDonald's commercial. LeBron, Air LeBrons are the first major shoe line. Because these are all the things. This is what makes Jordan still so relevant long after his playing days are over. People get a pair like there's kids who will never have seen Jordan, but they know all about Jordan. They've watched all of this stuff because of Jordans.
Or they don't, and they just have like his shoes or like a Jordan T-shirt, like.
And lots of stuff that Jordan did. He was in his late 30s. All this media kind of stuff. He did Space Jam when he was. I don't remember the exact number.
It was before he was done. He wasn't all done when he did Space Jam. Yeah.
And so people forget that like Jordan did accomplish all this in his late 30s, towards the end of his career. And LeBron's still kind of... This is when Jordan started going, when LeBron's this age.
He's got a couple of years still.
Jordan... Wait, you're saying down or up?
I'm saying, how old was Jordan when he first won his first championship? Does anybody
Jordan was like 26? 20, yeah, 26.
Hold on, I should know this from the sneakers.
Because he got bounced a bunch of years in a row in like the first, second round.
He won his first championship in his sixth season.
So he was
6 or 7.
So he's probably 27.
27, and LeBron's what, 32?
33, maybe 32, 33, yeah.
Okay, and Jordan left the league early, so he was about 30.
I don't know. We're not going to say ages of shit we don't know. But
exactly.
Jordan left the league, but I'm just play fucking scenario because you got way off topic of my question.
Mm-hmm.
Would there be the same hype
for Jordan nowadays?
Yeah, because I think LeBron would have killed it in such a way, like. That you would have been like, well, Jordan doesn't do chase down blocks. Like, well, Jordan isn't averaging a triple double. Like,
I'm not quite sure I understand.
The other thing,
I don't know how to explain it then.
Yeah, the other thing that I think is I would argue is that I think LeBron was built for Jordan's era more than Jordan would have been built for this era.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, I think LeBron would have been just as big as Jordan if he played back in the Jordan days. He would have been just as popular as Jordan. If you take Jordan out of the picture, Bron's still the greatest player in the league.
And could you imagine a league where the 3-point shot wasn't so crazily emphasized, so that you still had guys like you wouldn't have teams just absolutely like suctioning?
If you had Bron shooting his threes like he does now, he'd be a knock dead 3-point shooter back then because there was not very many.
Not to mention, every team had like a 3-point specialist. Yeah,
and then the Kings changed the game when they had 2.
Think about this though. When Jordan played, there was still illegal defense. You couldn't do the things that teams do to LeBron, where you have the big just in the lane and then they pop out of the lane to show, like, just to break the... You can't do that. If you weren't guarding a guy, if you were playing what the referees thought was a zone, it was illegal defense. Mm-hmm. If that existed now, oh my God, LeBron would average 45 points a game. Mm-hmm. If you couldn't just float that big out, all you'd have to do is take your big, pull him away from the hoop, and I mean, LeBron would have clear driving lanes. It'd be ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like I said, I don't know. You're never going to change anyone's mind, I feel like, in this debate. But to me, it just gets clearer and clearer with each passing season.
Mm-hmm. Do we even want to go through the NBA Finals?
I don't think there's much to talk about. I don't think our fans want to hear that.
I think we all know that it was over after game 1.
Yep.
With the JR incident. I'm not putting it all on JR. We got to remember that George Hill missed that free throw. We got to remember the referee calls down the stretch. But after that game, it was so disheartening that LeBron broke his hand punching away.
I was going to say, that might have been the bigger story, is that LeBron broke his hand. I mean, I don't know. People still shit on him for breaking his hand. Like, I don't know. I don't really want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk off season.
Let's talk future. Go ahead.
Yeah, because after
Hey guys, I want to talk about it though.
You want to
talk
talk
about the Wolves.
This guy's wearing fucking Warriors colors over here.
you want to talk about the future a little bit, Trey?
I just want to talk about one thing with the finals. I love LeBron. I'm a huge LeBron fan, but I think he made a huge mistake, and he probably doesn't give a shit. He's probably out of Cleveland, but during the finals when he was like, "I've been carrying my teammates for how long?" and you want to say what? I was like, the first time in my life, not a good look, Bron.
I think
not a good look for you.
I think that I agree, but I think that was some frustration bubbling over at that point. Like, LeBron is one of the most careful public image celebrities that I can remember ever.
Right.
LeBron so rarely has anything resembling a misstep, and I think he's human, and I think that he's worked so hard these playoffs.
Wait,
man.
what did I miss? I didn't.
He is not human.
LeBron is not human.
He's not
human.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sorry. What did he say? I missed this.
Basically, there was a reporter asking about what more do you need to do to get over the hump, and are you tired or something along those lines. And he basically was like, yeah, I've been putting the team on my back for how long, and da-da-da. And then people took it and ran with it as him like dogging his teammates and that sort of thing.
I mean, he's the man on his team, though. I don't know how you could knock him for that, though, Trey. I mean, it's not. There's not even a number 2, man. Like, really, like, it's Kevin Love, but it's not. It's not like a Scotty Mike
Everybody
thing.
knows that, but you don't ever say that to the media.
Well, who cares?
I would have to watch the interview because stuff gets like screwed
Yeah,
around
I
all
wanna-
the time.
Oh, it was bad. It was bad.
Really?
Yeah. And like I said,
it was really bad. It was awkward silence.
it was out of character.
Okay.
It was out of character for
It was
LeBron.
it was definitely out of LeBron's character.
Yeah.
I mean, even after game 1 when JR went to hit the Hennessy in the locker room and forgot what the score was, he had his back and he said, "No, JR knew what the score was. I just thought we had a timeout."
Yep.
But this time he straight up said,
They did
"I've
have.
been
Wait,
carrying
they
my
did have a
teammates for how
timeout.
long, and how much more do you want me to do?"
Yeah. No, I thought after the JR thing, the thing that everyone sort of like unintentionally, but maybe not, did was kind of it threw Ty Lue under the bus. For sure. For not calling the timeout. Like, you're the fucking head coach, guy. Like, you have a timeout, and you can see that JR is not aware of the situation. Use your timeout. Like, you're the coach. That's what you're there for. I thought
that overhead camera angle by Ball His Life was key.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, that was yeah.
LeBron said, "We didn't have any timeouts."
Yep. And then as soon as he found out they had a timeout, it was game. LeBron was done.
Over.
Yeah, I think that's the exact moment where LeBron decided to leave Cleveland. If you look, you can actually see it in his eyes. That at that moment, LeBron was like, "I am fucking out of here."
All right,
he immediately called Philly.
Yeah, he's like, he told my agent, "Get on the phone with everybody."
Do we want to
Please fire
discuss?
Colangelo. I'm coming.
Called up World Wide West and was like, "Hey, make
right.
something happen."
So are we just gonna get into the topic, Johnny? Is that what you want?
Yeah, are we going to where's
Let's
LeBron go
let's
next?
all go around the table.
Hold on, I want to know Gonzo's opinion on that LeBron quote because I thought that was really out of character for him.
I want to hear the interview personally because it's not.
Oh, you haven't heard it yet? Okay.
But honestly, I mean, I think I don't know. On one side, I just feel like it's so blatantly obvious. Like who cares really? Like
for sure. But I think that's beside the point.
But which one of those guys on that team wouldn't have been like, yeah, LeBron's carrying us?
JR. JR would have been like, "I am the guy."
Fuck JR. I don't give a fuck about JR.
JR was like, "Who is LeBron?"
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Kevin Love is the closest player, and Kevin Love would be like, this is LeBron's team. All those players went there knowing it was LeBron's team. All of them. That's why Kyrie left. So, I mean, it's LeBron's team, man. And I guess he shouldn't have said maybe. I don't know. It doesn't really bother me at all. Like, this is the worst thing we got to hang our hats on why LeBron not a nice guy. Like,
that's my whole thing. Exactly.
I'm cool with it. Like,
I feel like
I don't even think it's that bad of a thing because I can't knock it because I would say that type of shit.
Yep. Because I feel like I said, I feel like LeBron's at least earned like this much of a mulligan in the public eye.
You would think you couldn't see Jordan saying that. Like, if we're gonna play devil's advocate,
yeah.
Shaq with Kobe, tell me how my ass tastes.
Yep. if we're gonna get back in, dude, I've said this before. We've talked about things a lot. Jordan in the social media age. Oh my God, Jordan would have been.
Oh
Jordan,
God, that
Jordan
would
might
be
not.
horrible.
Jordan might not have had any endorsements like in the social media
There
age.
would have been so many pictures of him in Vegas, 2-time and his wife.
Yep. Him getting in fist fights over card games and just it would have been trouble. Like MJ would not. He came in at the exact right time because about a decade later it'd have been all over for him.
But that's the thing about LeBron is people are like, oh, he's such a douchebag. Oh, he's not humble at all. He's so cocky. It's like the guy's never been in trouble in his life. He's been with his wife since high school. He spends good time with his kids. I mean, he donates the most money to charities every year. And you hate him for what?
Because he beats your favorite team a lot. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know.
People hate him because people are always going to hate the best. There's not going to be a single player in the history of sports where everyone is going to be like, that's the fucking man.
Just a universally loved guy.
There's never going to be that.
For sure.
Like, I don't know, like baseball, I guess like the last...
Honestly.
What?
I think people hate him because he's a great black athlete. Honestly.
I mean, yeah.
I don't think that helps.
Yeah, I would say race for sure can play a role.
Just being real.
Yeah.
No, I for sure agree because fucking Donald Trump's our president, so we're a racist ass country.
Right.
But no, I think LeBron James is like one of the most stand up dudes. There is.
For sure.
Like it's like him and like people like to say The Rock, but he's like way ahead of The Rock. Like Rock out of divorce.
What about Tristan Thompson?
What?
Oh, did you say what about Tristan Thompson? Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said what about 50 Tyson?
You guys ready for your World Cup picks yet? Come on, let's move it on.
Holy crap, we're jumping all over.
Hold on, Trey. Do you remember 50 Tyson though?
We're gonna have to mute you for a second because it's getting too robotic right now. Okay?
Trey's levels are frightening at this point.
I just had my son fall asleep, and now you're gonna mute me. All right.
Actually, you're sounding good right now.
Now you're wherever you are right now, don't move. Yeah.
Whatever you just did.
Move.
You are in the sweet spot, my friend.
Trey, you just gotta talk a little softer.
Just maybe.
You guys sound like 20 times worse though wherever I am.
I mean, perhaps we have no way of
you can
gauging
listen
that,
to
but-
us later.
Yeah.
I blame Donnie.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we should have Skyped this out.
I blame Johnny for most things, though. To be fair.
All right. So, what do you want? World Cup picks?
Are we gonna do where's Bron going?
We can do Where's Braun Going. I
We're
feel like
going World Cup.
I feel like we have a lot of the summer for Where's Braun Going, though.
All right,
Let's do one. Get it out of the way and see where they.
Actually, no. Let's do World Cup. World Cup starts in 2 days.
Okay.
Let's go to the World Cup.
All right. So for my World Cup pick, I pick Brazil. I'm gonna go have a cigarette.
No, I think this year's World Cup. I think most underrated team, but lots of people also say this: Belgium.
Yeah, everybody says that every year.
Belgium's very good. Yeah.
Come on.
Belgium's stacked. They're not just good; they're stacked. They got Lukaku and Hazard up there. They got De Bruyne.
Hey,
they got
the one thing
Courtois.
I wanted to bring up. I brought up to a mutual soccer friend of ours, and he told me Chicharito's not that good.
He's not.
No, Chicharito's horrible.
It's because he's not that good.
But God, he's got that really cool song.
I mean, that was like the one time he started. He even started on West Ham. He doesn't even start on
guys,
West Ham.
This whole time, I thought Chicharito was like a superstar.
In Mexico, he is.
Is he like at least their best player?
He's their all-time leading goal scorer, I think.
For Mexico,
What's
yeah.
the other guy? Dos Santos?
Giovanni Dos Santos, yeah.
Yeah, but he plays in MLS, so he's irrelevant.
Yep, he doesn't count anymore.
Man.
If you go to MLS, you're irrelevant.
What if you go there at the end of your career just to get a check?
That's the only reason you go there.
Then you're cool.
Yeah, that's pretty much why you play in the MLS.
Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
Or David Beckham.
Right.
Yep.
Wouldn't David Beckham? God, come on, guys. That's like the one soccer guy I know. Like
David Beckham.
That is like
Landon Donovan.
the retiring soccer player playbook.
Hey, you don't like David Beckham?
I love David Beckham.
Okay, just checking.
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't like David Beckham.
Really? I bet you there's tons of people that don't like David Beckham.
Nah, I can't think of
Really?
it.
Probably
can't think of
a
it.
lot of fans of England don't like David Beckham. Actually,
Yeah.
I think English fans are way harsher on David Beckham than anyone like foreign. Like domestically, like Beckham is kind of like looked at as like an overrated slouch. I've seen there's like a lot. If you like look at like a lot of English like soccer highlights, there's a ton of people, and they're like, Beckham, the most overpaid, overhyped, blah, 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 like, never won shit for us, blah, blah, blah. Like, so, like, English fans are kind of bitter on his career.
You gotta win a World Cup in order to, like, matter?
At least a Euro.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to win some major tournament. If you want to be like a golden...
What's a Euro, every year?
No, that's the same. It's every 4 years as well, but it's just, it alternates. So it's every 2 years there's a Euro or a World Cup.
Yeah.
So if you have a good career, you probably have like 7 or 8 chances to win a major tournament.
Last year...
Hey, if we're explaining to Gonzo how soccer works, we need a whole nother podcast.
I suppose,
I'm
but
sorry.
it's good for a casual... it's good for a
I'm
casual...
sorry, I'll tune out.
No, it's good for a casual listener as well, though. It's kind of what we do with the wrestling one. Just give people like a crash course, sort of deal.
All right, and I think before we go into the next topic, we need to take a short break, maybe get the levels right before we go on.
But nobody else gave their picks for the
Hey,
World
hold
Cup?
up.
Is that
World Cup.
Just
After
me.
the soccer talk.
That's it. That's all.
Oh, okay. I was like, that's it. I get played off like that. Like, all right, like.
Because I got Belgium.
Okay, Johnny's picking Belgium. Do you have a final in mind?
Well, I don't really know on what side of the brackets they're
Just
going to
pick
be
your
on.
second favorite team.
Brazil.
All right. Okay, so Belgium over Brazil. Is Johnny's
I'll
prediction.
pick Brazil.
Damn, no love for Germany?
I'll pick Brazil over Portugal.
That's a country. Yeah.
Where's the one? Fuck! I gotta look at my
Ronaldo.
list. Yeah.
Ronaldo plays for Portugal.
No, not Ronaldo. What's the Messi? Where does he play?
Argentina.
Argentina. I'm gonna go Argentina versus Brazil.
Ooh,
That would be a South America. Mine's an all Euro final though. I mocked it out and I had France over Germany was the final that I had actually.
I like it.
So I think France is. I think the draw against the U.S. actually might be a wake up call, because they've been getting a ton of positive hype, like a lot of good press going into the World Cup, and I think drawing like the U.S.'s U23 team basically might have kind of sharpened their focus going into this. And I think you're going to see. I think Griezmann's going to have a huge World Cup. I think they're going to need Hugo Lloris to stand on his head a couple games, but yeah, France over Germany is the final that I have.
Hold on, real quick side point with U.S.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving what they're doing right now.
Oh my goodness, yeah,
They're playing all young cats under 23 years old, all playing in Europe, maybe 1 or 2 guys in the MLS, and they're just flying around the ball. They're fast as hell.
Wait, how did they get
they're
guys?
just wreaking havoc on
It's so depressing because
so refreshing.
it's oh my god, I love watching them. It's so much fun because they actually care. First of all, like it's incredible to watch that. But
And it's friendlies.
yeah,
It's not even the real thing.
it bums me out because whenever I watch like this version of the U.S. play, I'm like, there's no way this team would lose to Trinidad and Tobago. Like that like there's no way that would have happened, and it's so depressing because you look and you have a back line that features Cameron Carter-Vickers and Matt Miazga, guys that were fantastic in the U20 or the U20 World Cup a few years ago.
Oh,
These are guys that were that young. Like you have players like Emerson Hyndman and Rubio Rubin that are like fringe players now, but like are still assets, like still able to like. You have Tim Weah,
Yeah.
like they're fun, man. And Julian Green scored a goal against France. First time I've heard his name since like the Belgium game 8 years ago. But like it's fun, and they play for each other and they care, and it just I love Zach Steffen too. I think
He's the best keeper I've seen in years for USA.
I love Zach Steffen. I liked him. He was my boy in the U20 World Cup. I thought he was fantastic.
I'm telling you right now, if USA was in the World Cup this year and Zach Steffen was their starting keeper, he'd be on a Premier League team immediately.
Yeah, I think in 4 years he'll have his breakout because he's still so young too. He's with that same group, so he's 22, 23 years old.
I think he's 22. Yeah.
So yeah, the next World Cup he'll be 26, right in that like breakout sweet spot age. I think.
I mean, look at guys like Tyler Adams and Weston McKinney.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned him.
Just
I love
balling out.
I
fast
love
as hell,
yeah.
trying as hard as they absolutely can, and don't care what kind of team they're on. They don't care if they're playing for a USA team that's playing friendlies. They're going to ball out, and they're going to try as hard as they can, and they're going to put pressure on whoever they're playing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Weston McKinney. Well, I'm glad you mentioned Weston McKinney though, because he has stood out to me in several of these friendlies. As such, like he's such a good, like just controlling. He does the things that Michael Bradley is supposed to do. basically.
Exactly.
Like, he plays the role that Michael Bradley is supposed to, but he does it well. He's like 10 years younger. I mean, he has so much more poise.
Is he as angry though?
He's not as bald or as angry.
I don't like.
We are boring the shit out of whoever is listening, but I don't care.
Mainly me.
Yeah. But, like, he's not spraying passes to the other team. He's actually composed on the ball.
He's not taking 45 minutes on the ball to pick out his long ball that never will
to pick
actually come to fruition.
The hopeful long ball
Wait,
that
is
ends
he
up
trying to
just...
start the fast break?
That's basically what Bradley would do, except that
that's my guy.
usually resulted in a fast break, if you want to call it the other way, because he was fantastic at giving up turnovers in our own defensive third. That was one of Bradley's specialties.
Josh Sargent up front.
Sargent the ginger man, the fire-headed dynamo man.
Playing for Werder Bremen, like give me more European guys. I love it.
And here's the thing, like, we've looked so good, and then you, like, sit there and you're like, we haven't even been playing Pulisic in most of these games. Like,
no.
You get to plug our best player into this team still. Like, that's such an awesome thing to think about. And, like I said, I haven't been happier with where the U.S. is in a long time, honestly, even though they're not in this World Cup. But it just makes me sad that they're not, because I would have loved to see what this team could have done as, like, a scrappy, like, underdog in a group.
I'm telling you right now, I was 100% giving up on the U.S. and never watching them again until I was like, hey, let me flick on USA versus Bolivia and see what kind of squad they put out there.
That's the one that I watched. That was the one that got me back in.
Flying around the ball, don't give a shit about anything, just athletic as hell, fast as hell, and just doing it. And I love it.
Yeah, it's nice seeing a midfield too that actually, like, provides support and doesn't just, like, slump their shoulders when we give up the ball. You know?
Yeah, and it's like a team that people in the United States are like, oh, we're so athletic in the USA and nobody ever plays soccer. Okay, well, watch this team. They're super athletic and super fast.
Exactly. That's that. This is like the.
And it's finally happening.
Yep. This is the perfect counterpoint to your best athletes don't play soccer. This team is full of athletes and they're actually technically skilled as well. So I think they're going to be a problem.
One guy over 25 and he's 29. And it's Eric Lejai or whatever his name is.
Lehaj from
How's Freddie Adu looking?
Freddie Adu? He's probably playing really well in the USL, right? He's probably.
What's the
Freddie
USL?
Adu? I think he plays at Nomad for Milwaukee.
Does he? He plays. He plays Sundays. He plays Sundays beer league.
He's got to play Sunday league somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's okay. He's like 34 anyways.
Yeah.
He can't be 34.
He's our age, but he's 30.
Well, he's listed at 30, I think, but he's from Nigeria, so he's probably 34.
So who knows? But yeah. So we're gonna take a quick break. Got our soccer talk. It felt good. Felt good to get a little soccer talking, Trey. Thank you. Appreciate that. But
I know we didn't talk enough World Cup, but
I know.
That's all right.
I know. We'll get there. We'll get there. And
darn.
we'll come back. We'll talk a little NBA offseason and plenty more. All right, so stick with us here on Jabroni.
We're going to talk about bars.
Sports. Talk about the bars. And welcome back to Jabroni Sports. All right, before the break, we were talking a little U.S. soccer, a little basketball. I think we're going to delve more into the basketball realm here in the second half of the show.
Yeah, boy. Actually, I got a side note, just in case anyone hasn't seen. I didn't even discuss this before, but there's a little bit of a controversy I hear brewing in New York.
Okay.
What?
Well, a little controversy in the Giants quarterback room.
Okay. We're doing a little football.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about Davis Webb is making some waves? He's gunning for that number 2 quarterback spot. They said on a lot of other teams he could start.
That's big news. Do you listen to lots of New York podcasts or something? How are you getting this information?
He's on my dynasty team, and I'm just hoping I don't have to cut him. I'm looking for any reason.
The Giants, Giants' backup quarterback spot is pretty big news nationally, Johnny. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Dude, New York runs the world. You don't listen to Mike Francesca?
Yeah, there's Team Webb, there's Team Webb, and there's Team Loletta, and there's blood in the streets right now between those two factions warring.
Yeah,
people are like, Richmond will rise again, and it's ugly, man. It's ugly out there. Yeah,
but yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Sometimes New York media sounds crazy.
Yeah, the New York media. It's like I said, it's just sheer bloodlust for
we're just small town boys.
Yeah, for the Giants' backup quarterback spot. Yeah. It's a big deal. It is a big deal. Same thing on the other side of town in New York, though, because
but that's for the starting job.
I say Teddy Bridgewater. I've heard actually might somehow win that job. I don't know. It's whatever.
Old Teddy,
old Ted. Yeah, the one, the only.
What's happening
What's
in the
up,
background?
fellas? I'm back.
Oh, what's up, Trey Bo?
What's
How's
up?
it
We're
going?
just talking about Giants quarterback controversy.
Yeah, we're just talking
And
back.
Jets.
We're just talking New York quarterbacks right now, actually. So you picked a great time.
Why?
I started. I have Davis Webb, and I kind of just wanted to gauge people's opinion on Davis Webb out here.
Yeah, it's a fair question
That's
though.
more boring than USA Soccer.
That's I mean,
It's New
you know,
York. It's the biggest city. We just said that. I mean, you missed out on that.
and I was gonna.
What have I missed? What have I missed, fellas?
Well, that was it.
That was about it.
Yeah,
I
that
was
was
just kind of biding
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I said that it was really, really big right now. There's Team Webb versus Team Loletta. And people are
team are you?
battling, like, who are you? What side? You got to pick one. And then for the Jets, I mean, you got Teddy Bridgewater out there slinging the rock. And I've heard looking pretty darn good. Okay. A lot of people have said Teddy Bridge. That's Pusha T voice. Ugh. That is an appropriate response to the New York.
Wait, what's the summer gonna be like?
The summer of yuck.
No, what? I thought he gave it a name. I can't think right now.
Oh yeah.
It's like picking the tallest midget.
Yeah. I mean, to an extent, for sure. I mean, it's
Surgical summer.
surgical summer. Yeah. Problematic expression aside, I agree. Slightly problematic. But yeah, I was planning on delving in a little bit more into the NBA offseason.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I gotta be honest.
Do you guys think Luol Deng moves?
That's
Do you think he remains a Laker?
That's the biggest news of the offseason is
Well,
Luol Deng.
What about
sure.
Joakim Noah? Does he come back?
Luol Deng's moving from the hottest nightclub in Los Angeles to the other one.
to the other clubs? Now there was actually a video of Joakim Noah working out in a gym, so he's not in the wilderness anymore. He's back. He's back in civilized society, and he was working out in a gym with a trainer, and he was just doing dunks. It was just him catching and dunking.
Well, that's
I don't think he
basically
can-
Joe's game.
Well, I don't think he can hardly dunk anymore, so he's got to get his legs back underneath him.
He was dunking. He dunked.
What do you
That's
mean?
all he did in the video.
What
was
do you
dunks.
mean, dude? He was probably chasing wild animals out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
It turned
Jumping
his
over
beard
logs.
Yeah, he's definitely out there trying to get some of his younger days. He probably did a lot of drugs too that helped kind of get his
Yeah.
mindset back to a younger man.
I don't think Joakim Noah can jump over a phone book.
blonde. That's a lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say he was. Like I said, it
Oh,
was,
you're a
lie.
fucking liar.
it was multiple dunks in this video that I watched.
All right,
It's- yeah.
all right.
So look up Joakim Noah dunking.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I am Joakim
That's
Noah's
true. I say,
number
why-
one fan.
why
My
am I-
favorite bowl of all time.
Like, what bizarro world is it where Johnny's ripping Joakim Noah and I'm defending him? This is this is the only time this has ever happened in our history of knowing each other.
I was just making jokes about him not being able to jump.
Well, you need to be a day one, okay, a day one-ish supporter of Joe.
Day one is H.
Yeah, he would appreciate it. But
Yeah.
I mean, this offseason, man, I want I want a reason to have hope. Basically, like the Warriors, the word and like the phrases that come to mind for me with this Warriors team. There's two things: it's inevitable and hopeless. Like the Warriors winning just feels inevitable at this point.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think it's inevitable. I think the Rockets could have. I think the Rockets could have beat them if Chris Paul stays healthy.
No, absolutely not.
I was gonna say
They
I
were
want.
games 6 and 7.
Dude,
Trees
people are
looking.
so thirsty for that, but it never would have happened.
They weren't even playing at their highest level.
They
No.
would have. They would have lost that game. Chris Paul in Game 6 and Game 7. The Warriors lose that game.
Not game 6. Game 6, they got blown off the court.
Game 7.
Game 7, maybe. But
No.
And then we have a whole different story.
Nah,
Dude,
it don't
yeah,
matter. Chris Paul gets hurt
that's
every
people looking
postseason.
for a storyline, and it never would have happened.
It's people looking
The
for
Rockets
hope.
were playing well, and people had their hopes up, and then Chris Paul went down. And they're like, "Oh, this is my point to say that the Rockets were going to beat the Warriors."
What about
It
the
never
fact that
would
James
happen.
Harden played like shit?
James
Again.
Harden was like what 5 for 20 from 3?
yeah, like I said, we discussed this like in the playoff preview thing.
It never would have happened, man.
James Harden's
it up.
postseason struggles are getting to be a little bit of a trend at this point in his career, I think.
Yeah, I was unimpressed.
And it sort of falls in line with the whole, he doesn't get a friendly whistle in the playoffs. You don't get calls, like that in the playoffs, and especially against teams like Golden State, you don't get calls.
Good, because all that motherfucker looks for is calls.
Yeah, but I mean, I want.
But that's a game you can use. I mean, it works in the NBA.
It definitely works in today's NBA. Absolutely.
Yeah, but it's so pathetic. Like me and AJ have gone over. That's his game.
And it's
So
not
trash.
and I think it finds its limitations more so in the postseason.
He's your MVP, so
is,
I mean,
yeah. But I mean, it's been a while since an MVP won a championship. So
The fact of the matter is that Golden State would have beat Houston no matter what would have happened.
true.
I disagree.
All right, that's
You're
fair.
wrong.
You can agree
I
if
think
you're wrong.
healthy Chris Paul beats the Warriors in that situation.
Absolutely not.
Then we're telling a whole
107%.
different story right now if that happens.
But
I strongly disagree.
do you think that Houston can, with no other additions and the potential loss of Clint Capella looming, do the same thing next year, though?
No.
Because that's my issue. That's where the hopelessness and that's where the inevitability comes in. Because is this the best version of Houston that we're going to see? Can they take another step from here?
Should we start it?
Yeah.
Clint Capella to the Bulls, bro.
Ooh. What if LeBron goes there?
Yeah. That's the big. I think that's the million. I mean,
That's a spicy meatball.
yep.
Trey,
that's-
don't act like you haven't heard that one.
Yeah, that's to me. That's
Nah, I heard that one.
that is the most interesting potential landing spot for LeBron this offseason to me. And here's why: because it's not only something that obviously instantly vaults them into super contender status. It's not that hard to get there plausibly. You wouldn't be able to re-sign Capella, unfortunately. I know he's given them a lot, but I think Capella is fairly limited, and you're able to exploit him from his lack of offense and his free throw shooting. Golden State did both of those things in the playoffs. They did some hack of Capella, things along those lines. And then one of the other major things you'd have to do is just find a team to take on Trevor Ariza, because Trevor Ariza makes $12, $13 million.
There's a bigger piece you got to move.
Who's that? Oh, Ryan Anderson. Yeah. If they can move those two contracts, I think you attach. I think if you attach a first rounder to Ryan Anderson, you can maybe get somebody to eat some of that money. But I think Ariza you can probably move fairly easily.
No, Ariza's an easier one. For
Yeah,
sure.
and all of a sudden
I think they need Ariza though.
if you have LeBron,
Yeah,
I mean,
but still, I don't know. They need They can't just have the three guys on the court,
then you would be.
and those are three ball dominant. I don't know, man.
It's either but you still have PJ Tucker there.
I think you're adding another ball dominant player. It was already awkward to watch towards the beginning of the season, having Paul and James Harden both ball dominant players until they finally developed their UISO, ISO type of offense that they finally got into. But I think that adding another ball dominant player on that team, of course they'll be better because they got LeBron. Well, maybe they won't be better, but I don't like it.
I think it's I don't know because I think the whole there's not enough balls blah blah blah. I think that was overblown. I was in that camp. I didn't think the Chris Paul and James Harden thing would work. I didn't think that they could coexist. And I was wrong. I mean, 100% on that one. They played together very well, and they got to Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals. So I don't see reason to believe that LeBron, one of the most intelligent basketball minds that the game has ever seen, couldn't make it fit as well. I don't see. I feel like I'm inclined to believe that LeBron could. You can figure it out with LeBron, and LeBron can figure it out with most anyone.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. I don't know. I think losing Clint Capella might hurt more than you think.
Absolutely,
and
Yeah,
I think I don't know.
If I'm the Rockets, I keep it together and try again.
LeBron's best when he's facilitating, and I don't
Okay,
know.
so let's get into this conversation.
Here, I have a small list.
Of where LeBron goes.
Just potentially. You
All
want
right,
me to read it or you want to read it?
Let's go into it.
Can I?
All right.
I got. There's two. There's one. Another thing too.
Go.
And this would be because I don't for like getting LeBron. This would also get you pretty much there in one fell swoop. But I think this would be a guy like a perfect guy for LeBron to facilitate for. Eric Gordon is another guy that they could move this offseason as well. So, like for a team with like.
What was that noise?
So
I like Eric Gordon.
Yeah, I think that like the Rockets have a lot of guys they could move to do it. They honestly are a fairly deep team, which is part of why they were so successful in the regular season. But anyways, yeah, moving on. What you got there? What kind of list we looking
Tell
at?
me if I'm missing somebody. All right. Okay. I'm just putting teams on there.
Hold on,
like,
let's not just list off all the teams. Let's say what our pick is on what you think LeBron's going to do.
Can we go through the teams and then say our pick?
These are the teams that I think there's any. Okay, never mind. This one doesn't have any shot.
Because we can make like a 30-second case for each team, basically.
All right.
You know?
Spurs.
I'd love to see LeBron on the Spurs.
Popovich.
Everybody
Everybody says that it'll overload the West, but I think the East is going to emerge with the Celtics and the Sixers as pretty good. It's going to be a lot better, even if LeBron stays there or he leaves.
Spurs makes a ton of sense for like a last hurrah attempt.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening, but I think that LeBron and Pop have a pretty public affinity for each other, so that may play a role. And I would like that one a lot. I just don't see it happening.
I don't think it would happen either. I don't think there's enough there for LeBron to be like, yeah, I'm gonna go play with LaMarcus Aldridge. Like, Kawhi Leonard's not even playing. Like, he's gone basically. Like, I'm good, man.
We don't know that yet.
We do.
Yeah, and I also feel like to get LeBron, you probably have to move a major salaries because like they're fairly close to like capped out between him and LaMarcus Aldridge and Pau Gasol.
And Tony Parker.
Pau Gasol has a terrible contract. Pau Gasol's making like $17 million. Tony Parker's still making like 12 or 13. Manu's still making like 12 or 13. They have a lot of like salaries that'll damage you. So they'd have to move one of the big salaries to do it, and I think Kawhi makes the most sense just because of how awkward it is at this point.
So, all right, moving on. Trey, you got a thought?
Yeah, on LeBron.
No, on the Spurs. We're just kind of going through the list.
Yeah, LeBron's not going to the Spurs.
Okay. Lakers. I'm saying that I'm sick of hearing this shit. No way.
Lakers.
Lakers.
Wait, you just said the team.
I was questioning, like, Lakers?
Oh.
Lakers? Is that what you said?
I feel like the Lakers are a very plausible possibility for LeBron.
I think no way. No way he goes to the Lakers because it's the Lakers. Like, it's a storied
I think
franchise. And you're a
Brown
Laker.
loves LA, though.
Yeah, but you got to live in everybody's shadow.
Okay, then go to the Clippers, which is the next team, but...
LeBron don't give a shit about anybody's shadow.
I know, but there's just, like, I just can't picture LeBron as a Laker.
LeBron shouldn't be a Laker. It just doesn't make any sense.
I agree, but he doesn't give a shit about that.
No, but
there's not enough to attract them.
That's my biggest issue. Is that I don't think that they're close enough to winning a championship within the window of when LeBron would need that to happen.
Kyle Kuzma might be the best player.
Paul George goes there as well.
Still,
they'd have to move so much to make that happen.
And also Russell Westbrook.
I don't know how many first
They're all going there.
You can't. Trey, if that happens, I'm cool with it, but I don't think it's possible.
I don't know how many first-round picks you have to attach to Luol Deng to move that contract. They'd have to find
out.
Guys,
I gotta be real with you. You brought the question to me. I'm in the minority. I think LeBron's staying in Cleveland.
Wait, I'm going through the list, guy.
I'm telling you what I'm feeling.
I'll skip ahead too, and I completely agree with you.
I know that Johnny's voiced this as well. Could you guys explain why to me then?
Because where else?
I just feel like go ahead, Johnny.
I'm like, he can still, like, his team got to the finals. Okay, so they're not terrible.
They're fucking terrible.
They're pretty trash.
They're pretty trash,
but
still
trash.
If you can somehow find a piece, maybe Rodney Hood gets a little bit better. Somehow move something around and find one more piece.
You can't move anything around.
We're talking about the Rockets have to move this guy. The Lakers have to move this guy.
They need to move one of this guy. That's the difference. Cleveland, you need to move Tristan and blank. You need to move Kevin Love.
Love.
If you move Kevin Love, that opens up a spot for a guy. But Kevin Love's not bringing you back good value in a trade at this point.
And you can't get rid of Kevin Love. So you can get something for...
Why can't you?
You're not getting anything. You're doing it. If you're doing it to sign somebody else. So you're basically trading Kevin Love for your free agent signing. Because no one's going to give you a star, like a plus asset for Kevin Love.
What free agents are you going to attract? That's going to make it. LeBron needs to play against or play with somebody that's at least an all-star.
Kevin Love's an all-star.
I know, but I'm sorry. He needs to play with somebody a little bit better than Kevin Love.
Well, I mean, I think they have just as much chance of striking an above-average player in the offseason, keeping everything together, get the chemistry going a little bit, maybe play a little bit more Rodney Hood, and then you got another finals team.
I don't. No, because guess what?
They're not my favorites to win the East if they don't move anything next. Like if they don't change.
Johnny, I think you got a good point though when you say that they have the ability to strike somebody in the offseason because they still have Braun.
Yeah, and they still have
money.
They got the 8th draft pick. Maybe that can turn into something. Is it 8 or 7?
I think you have much. I think you have
8th draft pick. It can be overrated.
Well, no,
Nate's drafting.
I think it's definitely not going to make an impact player for you this year. I think the better chance for them, if this is the route they're going, is to use that pick in helping acquire another player. That's how you would have to use it.
So there's still value.
You're not even if you get
actually still want Kevin Love though. Seriously.
No, like I said, Kevin Love's value is not. You're not going to get back. You're not going to get back fair value for Kevin Love. You're not. His value right now is not very high.
No, absolutely. But teams still do want him.
I just don't
at like a marginal level.
Not
Yeah.
good
like
teams.
an average player level.
I think it's more so that a team with cap space would allow you to trade him into that space and maybe give you like a protected first or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it? Because that's to me that's what a Kevin Love trade probably looks like in my mind at this point. It's him going
No,
to
we're
a team
on
with
the same
cap.
page.
Okay, it's him going to a team with cap space, and you get a top 5 protected pick, something top 10, something like whatever. The protection probably wouldn't matter because if Cleveland brings their firsts don't matter right now. But I have to go through so many mental gymnastics to picture this version. I just saw this team get just blown off the court basically, aside from one game, by the Warriors, and I can't get myself to a point where I'm like, all right, they can do this and this, and they can beat this team 4 times in 7 games. I'm having
Who's
a really hard
dropping 40
time.
for you when LeBron needs to play a little defense?
No, I agree with you guys. Like, I don't think that they could beat that team in 7 games no matter what. But I feel like LeBron has already made his decision when he went back to Cleveland. And now I don't think he can do it again. I don't think he could bail on the Cavs again.
I just don't think it's bailing.
I think he's too good of a guy. I think he's too good of a guy.
But
That's
he
what it
won a
boils down to.
championship. He won you a ship.
So are we going to take in a factor like if he doesn't want to move, like he's already settled, got his family and everything
Sure.
in Cleveland?
I don't care. Yeah.
So that
I mean, I
that
do
adds
care.
a little weight
LeBron's
for
great.
me
Dude, he's
of why
got a
he would
house
stay.
in LA. Like,
He's
his
got a-
family. It doesn't matter. His kids will be comfortable.
LeBron's got a couple dollars in the bank. I think he can buy
One
a
of his
house.
sons enrolled in some school in L.A. too. Breaking news.
He's so loyal to Cleveland, and he's such a good guy that I think he wants to stay, and he wants to try and make it happen.
Maybe this is just naivety on my part, and it almost certainly is.
I
but-
could be being crazy.
Well, I can't imagine being a Cavs fan, and if LeBron leaves this time around, being like, that son of a bitch. Like, how do you do that?
No way.
So that to me, I don't think he has to worry about the backlash. Like,
No.
I don't
I don't
think
think he gives a shit about the Cavs fans, though. I think it's internal with him. Like, he wants to represent Cleveland, and he's such a good guy that he wants to do it, and he doesn't want to leave again because I don't think he can go through that heartbreak again.
I think he prioritizes winning another championship above basically anything else at this point. Still, I don't think he's in the point of his career where he's comfortable with not winning another ship. You can just, I don't know, man. To me, like, I'm projecting, of course, but like everything about LeBron, like nothing about him in this postseason was like content with like doing what they're doing right now. It just he
And
wants
that's
to
true.
be great.
But what a lot of people say about him winning another championship is where I disagree, because he has won a lot of championships, especially with Cleveland, with not a good supporting cast, and now he's at the point where maybe he doesn't care anymore, and maybe he wants to just either build a super team or just try and do it in Cleveland. And I think maybe he wants to try and do it in Cleveland. I don't know.
He's got to get Russ then. That's what I heard. the other
Oh
day.
yeah, for sure. Who cares about the regular season?
Yeah. I can't. I don't know. Like LeBron, I said it earlier. To me, is one of the most intelligent, like self-aware superstars we've ever seen. And I like as a function of that, I cannot imagine LeBron not wanting to win another ring desperately. Still, like LeBron is more keenly aware of his legacy than I think most people that cover him are. Even like LeBron knows where his place in history is, and he knows what he can still do to impact it. And if he goes somewhere and they can conquer this Warriors team, I think that like puts him over the top in terms of like the greatest ever in his mind, and I think in a lot of people's minds. And I think anywhere he can go to do that, I think right now his number one like obsessed, because it has to be the last 2 years. This team has beaten you 8 out of the 9 games you've played against them in the finals the last 2 years. You've won 1 game in 2 years. He wants to beat that team.
This is his Boston.
He does not care how he does that, I don't think, at this point, or where he has to go to do it. I think LeBron's, like, I don't want to say final, like, ultimate goal, but, like, to me, like, most obvious goal right now has to be beating that team. How could it not be?
Well, he already beat them when they didn't have Durant, so he beat the Warriors.
I know, but he hasn't. He hasn't beaten this Warriors team. This Warriors team is a beast that the league really has never seen before. And that's what I'm saying. If he can go somewhere and be the best player on a team that beats this Warriors team.
It's real life Space Jam.
Yep. That's the best thing. That's like one of the greatest accomplishments you could ever have in basketball.
Okay, so
See, but the thing I feel like is that no matter where LeBron goes, I think he's smart enough to know that even where he goes, he will still not be able to beat that Warriors team because they're too good.
That's where I disagree.
So maybe he stays in Cleveland and he tries to build it.
Trey,
that's where I disagree.
Are you telling me he's not better if he's playing with Russell Westbrook, James Harden, CP3,
all on the same team?
Not all on the same team.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Give him one of those guys though.
Lauri Markkanen.
Oh, Lauri Markkanen.
You guys are in and out, but those guys haven't played together before. This Warriors team has been playing together for years.
Well, they didn't last year though.
The Warriors team is beatable.
The Warriors?
The Warriors, like, when they added Durant, that was their first year with KD, and that's a huge addition that they had to, like, account for.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, before that, they had superstars. They had Steph and Clay and Draymond's dirty ass.
Draymond's not a superstar. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, no, he's not, but he's a solid player.
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree.
He was Finals MVP, though. Let's keep that.
I agree that chemistry matters, but I think if you have an entire regular season to get your chemistry right, a lot of those things work themselves out.
I think if you have a good coach, it matters even less. So if the reason I think LeBron's gone is because I would have already fired Tyronn Lue.
Yeah, that should be step one.
How many timeouts?
Like if they want to keep him there, I think that's almost.
That's what I would do. Like for real, if it's like, if it's like, all right, we got swept, we want to keep LeBron. Ty Lue, you got to go, man.
But I feel like, guys, there's no way that LeBron's going to play with Russell Westbrook and Chris Paul and James Harden. That's not going to happen.
He has to. Like,
how is that going to happen, though? How's that physically going to work?
Because the NBA's fixed, man. Come on.
I mean, Houston's got cap space a little bit.
Like I said, I don't think that they're going to get all those guys on the same team. I don't see that as possible.
What if he goes and plays for the Jazz?
Shit, that would be solid.
Or the Nuggets.
You know, about Ty Lue, I'm not going to say he's
Russell Westbrook and LeBron together would be good. I want that to happen.
Everyone does. Johnny, get the fuck out of here.
I'm not sold on Tyronn Lue.
What did Johnny say when Snyder's the best coach in the NBA?
Said Ty Lue. He said Ty Lue is a good coach.
I'm not.
Oh my god.
Hold on. I didn't say he's a good coach. I said.
Do me a favor. Hold up. Drive down to Lake Michigan. When you get to Facts, just jump in their front window.
Hold on, we've never seen Ty Lue,
and then buy all the Rumplemans they have because I sell it.
When you're coaching LeBron, like your actual coaching is kind of overshadowed because your offense is giving the ball to LeBron.
LeBron's always wanted to be coached.
Johnny, if you're defending Tyronn,
okay, here's an argument. Here's an argument that I want to bring up. People are saying,
stop it.
Let him go. Let him go.
This is what I want to bring up. Everybody said Eric Spoelstra was a bad coach because he didn't win the finals with LeBron and Wade and Bosh that first year. And that second year, everybody said he's just relying on those guys. All those guys leave, and it turns out Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league. So before we jump on Ty Lue, let's see if he can coach a team without LeBron before we get on him. Because am I wrong that everybody said Eric Spoelstra was a bad coach?
The first year.
Before
LeBron was gone, people knew Spo was a good coach.
Yeah.
We've had 2 years with Ty Lue.
Spo was a great
We've had 3 years with Ty Lue.
And he won one.
Yeah, he won one. Exactly. He won the one where LeBron was, like, historically good.
I'm saying
Tyronn Lue is not an NBA coach. LeBron is.
Tyronn Lue is a high school coach.
All right, well,
yep.
I'm not going to judge Tyronn Lue until I see
why are you
him
defending
without
Tyronn Lue?
My biggest...
Why didn't he play Rodney Hood earlier?
Because Johnny hates
Allen
Iverson.
Why didn't he play that fucking guy that celebrates on the bench? I forget his name.
Cedi Osman.
He might.
But this is
he made him mix it up.
This is I won't. I'm not just gonna like jump on and like just shit all over. But this is like how I always like look at like what a good coach is and why I would want to coach and things like that. Every good coach, a team has a certain personality. They do things that you can see like, oh, that's the imprint, that's the fingerprint of this coach.
They have a culture.
Yeah. What does a Ty Lue team look like? What are the distinguishing characteristics of a Ty Lue team?
Rolling their eyes.
LeBron. That's it.
That's all we have. It's because it's always bad body language. Yeah, I agree with that. There's always poisonous body language. There's very little chemistry.
A lot of sign.
Poor communication.
Well, of course, there's no chemistry. The team was assembled at the trade deadline.
I just
It's been like that, though.
His timeout management's awful. They were out of timeouts in game 2 with like 7 minutes left.
That was horrendous.
That was right. Like he didn't call the one. Basically,
All right, Trey, I'm going to have to cut you off. You're in the microphone pretty loud right now.
Another huge thing that I think is always indicative of a coach's quality is out of timeout plays. You see teams, that have very crisp out of timeout plays. It's one of the few things where a coach can make an impact. There's a lot of, maybe he's good at these things, but I haven't seen any reason. Like, I'm more in the camp that he needs to show me some of these things for me to believe that he is good.
And I don't think he's ever going to have the opportunity to show these things as long as LeBron is on the team.
But how come Spoelstra could, though?
Because Spoelstra only did it at the end. People still weren't on this bandwagon.
But I could tell you exactly what some of the pet offense was that Spoelstra had. Once Spoelstra realized that having Chris Bosh in the short corner for threes was a thing you could do, because then you could have a screen where you could have Ray Allen come off it, and then they'd have to either switch it, but if they didn't switch it quick enough, Bosh could just stay there for the three, or Ray Allen could come off it for There was a lot of things that Spoelstra did that showed he was aware of his personnel and could create mismatches.
I think the Chris Bosh thing is they just didn't. He probably knew it all along, but Bosh just could not knock down that shot. He had to
then he didn't know it because it wasn't there.
Yeah.
It wasn't there to know.
Well,
There's no bell to ring.
Maybe he probably knew that somebody in that spot who can knock down that shot would be effective. But he couldn't put Chris Bosh there at the time because Chris Bosh couldn't knock down that shot.
Chris Bosh was an established at least 18 to 22 foot jump shooter before he ever got to Miami.
But there's a large difference between shooting that 18-footer from the corner and shooting that corner three.
But I'm saying 18 was like the beginning of Chris Bosh's range.
And he eventually got out there, like every big man in the league does. Like Horford had the same thing.
In Toronto, Chris Bosh's range was borderline threes at the at the very least.
But it still took him a long time to be able to hit threes. It took him a long time to adapt. It took him how many years? 7 years, I'll say. It's a made-up number.
What? Yeah,
because all his years in Toronto, plus the couple years in Cleveland until he started hitting that shot.
Yeah, I just like I said because when I watched Spoelstra, I understood and I appreciated what he was doing and the trademarks of his team, and also he had a defensive imprint. The Cavs are a fucking horrendous defensive team. Conceding that they don't have the best defensive personnel. They don't have the worst. They have a lot of they have a fairly young athletic team. Like George Hill was regarded as a plus defender most of his years in the league. Rodney Hood is regarded as a plus defender. Jeff Green, average to below average for sure, but Tristan Thompson was always regarded as a plus defender as well. So with all of those things in play, why do you have a team that is in the bottom third of the league defensively in almost every category?
Well, during almost all the season, they didn't have Tristan Thompson in there. They had Kevin Love playing center, which is a bad move. Ty Lue, another bad move. Let's get this right. Let's get this right. Okay, I'm not.
But Kevin Love's a decent rebounder as well, and he's not a horrible defender. Yeah.
He showed a little bit of offensive.
And my main issues with the Cavs aren't really their big man defense per se. It's the switching. It's that's a scheme issue to me. The switching thing, it's too easy to create a mismatch because they have...
Well, every team in the league did that. You can find mismatches on the Golden State Warriors. You found mismatches. The Rockets, every single position was a pick-and-roll mismatch. When they got David West out there, they'd eat him for lunch. Pick-and-roll mismatch. So you get that mismatch no matter what kind of defense, unless you're running a zone, which you're going to get destroyed. All I'm not saying Ty Lue is the next Eric Spoelstra or something like that. I'm saying let's not count out Ty Lue until LeBron's off, until he's coaching the team that's without LeBron.
And to make the counterpoint again, Steve Kerr, to his credit, when teams were doing that and creating those mismatches and getting his bigs out in space, they countered that after by game 6 in the Western Conference Finals, because they would just send a second defender at the ball handler, kind of blows up the isolation play, and when you do that in the fray or the scramble, it allowed their big to get back to a better matchup. So he had an adjustment for it. He had an answer for it, and it was very successful for them. Ty Lue did not. So you can have a scheme, but your ability to make adjustments within playoff series, I rate that very highly as far as a coach's ability, and I don't see Lue make those adjustments within a series. Against Indiana Indiana was running a lot of the same stuff the whole series, and just in some of the series, they didn't make their shots. Otherwise, Cleveland could have been out in the first round, man. It would not have been crazy for them to lose that series. Indiana outplayed them large stretches of that series. They went 7 games with the shell of the Boston team. That's why I don't see this Cleveland team even being the favorite to win the East next year, unless something drastic happens. Maybe it does, but again, like, I need to like have a reason to believe something will happen, rather than just like believe it and now prove to me that it won't.
I
think
that the Celtics are obviously the favorites to win the East, even if LeBron returns and gets a piece. The Celtics are stacked
because the Celtics are getting a couple pretty big pieces back.
They're getting
Mathematically, someone's got to get injured, right?
A couple pretty good players. I don't know if you're aware, but
I don't think Gordon Hayward will fit.
Gordon Hayward's too ball dominant.
Dude, you realize their starting lineup potentially could be Kyrie,
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown?
Oh, yeah. At the 2?
Okay.
I
was going to say Gordon Hayward, but Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward,
yep.
Jason Tatum,
yep.
Al Horford.
Yeah. Why
are you confused about the Al Horford one?
Because that's a really good team.
I don't know if Al Horford...
If Al Horford's your 5th best starter, you're a great team.
Al Horford, why are you always hating on Al Horford?
If Al Horford
Joakim Noah is the better player coming out of school.
If Al Horford,
you're still bitter about that Joakim Noah, Al Horford.
If Al Horford is your 5th best starter, you're probably going to the finals.
Yeah, I guess I just really want a team that's going to be able to beat the Warriors.
Yeah.
So I would really like it if they just had a younger center, so it could like last a little bit longer, so they don't like win one and then Al Horford's gone and then
he never had that problem in the playoffs. Not one game was he tired to play.
No, I'm saying he's gone as a free agent.
The window with that team.
Oh, you're trying to replace Horford.
Exactly, because that to me, that's Boston's most pressing issue, even though it's not an immediate concern.
No, not at all.
You need to find who your next center is, because it's not Aaron Baines.
No.
You know?
It depends. I don't know Al Horford's contract right now, but
it's up after next season, I believe.
I think he's still got 2 good years in him.
I agree. But again, if you can't bring him back, because Boston has a lot of tough decisions to make in the near future. They're in a great spot.
Season.
Yeah, they're in a great spot, and they're great decisions to make. They're decisions that you make when you have a good team with a lot of good young players. But they're not going to be able to keep that entire team. So, like, are they going to be good enough next year to beat Golden State, or 2020 would be the last time you could do it with basically this group before you have to start making those decisions?
You're going to have to get rid of probably Scary Terry for sure. Terry's gone. You can't afford to buy Scary Terry, then you got to pay Jaylen Brown, then you got to play Jason Tatum. You can't give.
So is Marcus Smart a casualty as well?
Marcus Smart is a casualty.
So now your guard depth is pretty questionable.
This is the point.
Your guard depth is fine. Your forward depth is.
Well, if you're losing Terry and Marcus Smart.
Oh, you said Marcus Smart?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Marcus Morris.
No, Marcus Smart.
Marcus
Morris is gone at some point as well. Yeah.
Unless you're losing both your guard. No,
that's what I'm saying. If you lose both of your backup guards, then all of a sudden.
So Smart's got to be signed. Is it this year? He needs a contract.
It's either Smart or Scary Terry.
Yeah, and to be fair, again, I've said this before, but Boston still has a Sacramento pick. Like, Boston is in such an enviable position; it's crazy. They still can add like top 5 picks potentially to this core, which is like mind-boggling to think about, because maybe that's where they get their center. Maybe they grab one of the best centers in the draft in the top 5 next year, and all of a sudden we look silly talking about this.
And this is why
who knows?
I hear the argument that the East is just so bad, and they're going to be so bad for a long time. You think about it, it's like, do you not see the Celtics and how good this team is?
They're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. They have one of the best coaches in the league. Yep. The Sixers are going to make a run for it. You got the Celtics, Sixers,
and then what?
The Milwaukee Bucks. Man. I'll make an argument for the Bucks.
Real quick. Let's
not winning it, but being okay.
I think the Bucks. I think the Bucks at least win a playoff series next year. I'd be very surprised if they don't.
Yes or no?
In terms of like, do they bring him back?
Yes.
Yes. Just because.
Have you heard anything?
I haven't heard anything, but it's such a shallow free agent market, and I don't see any other I don't see a reason not to in this scenario again. They're not going to be in play for any of the top we'll delve in. We've kind of run long with this anyways, but it's not a super sexy free agent crop this next season. Like Thaddeus Young is thinking about opting out of a $14.7 million player option because he thinks he can make more on the open market.
Oh, he can.
Because he's going to be, Thaddeus Young will
Johnny,
be a top.
what are you doing? He'll make 20.
He'll be a top 10 guy in this free agent class.
I thought you were like, oh.
Yeah, Thaddeus Young will be a top 10 free agent in this class. So for that reason alone, I think you have to there's no what are you using the money for otherwise?
If you're the Bucks, you have to re-sign Jabari because
to me it makes it so easy because there's no other free agent where you're like, yeah, but what if you can there's none of the top guys. If LeBron wanted to come to Milwaukee, I guess I would say goodbye Jabari.
So
I suppose.
Are we still banking on Thon developing?
I think that has to be part of it.
You don't have a choice. Why not? He's still on a rookie contract.
Yeah, you don't have to have a choice. But we saw him during the season this year, and he was. Thon's done.
Playoffs
feels good.
I have to believe
playoffs
that there's. I have to believe that somewhere between playoff Thon and regular season Thon is a sustainable version of Thon that's at least a rim protecting big that can knock down a shot.
You have to get playoff Thon into the season because it happened his first season too. He was amazing his rookie year in the playoffs. Not amazing, but good.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, this is going to be great. You saw him in the season. He's like, okay, maybe this Thon thing didn't work.
Isn't that the best problem to have though?
Better in the playoffs.
You never have to pay him that much then because his season stats aren't very good. I also have, again, this comes back to the coaching thing. I have a lot more faith in Budenholzer to use basically every member of the Bucks better than we saw them used under the Kid/Prunty regime.
Isn't his nickname Mikey B?
Mikey, I thought it was just Buds. Yeah, but
so I think the Bucks are.
I think they'll be improved. Yeah, I think they'll make a run at.
I don't think they're number 3.
Who's number 3 besides Cleveland? If Bron stays,
that's the biggest if.
But the Knicks.
Yeah. Let's go Knicks.
No, I don't know. I'd have to sit down.
I think it'd be very interesting. Yeah, the Raptors will still be a good regular season team. Absolutely.
Yeah, I forgot about the Raptors.
The Raptors for sure.
They lost Dwayne.
What I think could be a very interesting potential 4-5 series this next year would be if the Bucks and Pacers wrangled in the all NBA TV game first round series.
Wow, that is official NBA TV game.
But man, it'd be really good basketball, but no one would watch it.
Besides Bucks fans and Pacers fans.
Actually, the Bucks got Giannis. People want to see Giannis.
That reminds me back to was it 99 when there was the Bucks against Reggie Miller back when it was a best of 5 first round and Ray Allen was a second year guy and it's been a while. But there are some Bucks Pacers playoff lore for me to draw back on if we ever get there. But I think like I said, for me, back to the original point, back to the LeBron, the crux of the issue, going past the coaching, everything else. Like I said, I think LeBron. I guess if I was gonna field it as if I had to pick one team, I still think Cleveland's probably the front runner, just because all the other teams are so split percentage wise. I would say Cleveland's a 20% chance, but I think that I would take the field. If it's Cleveland versus the field, I'm taking the field. But if I have to pick one team, Cleveland's probably still the most likely if I'm just picking one team.
That makes sense. What do you got over here?
What? I was really chopped.
At Gonzo.
At Gonzo1323. Follow me on Instagram.
But like I said, I think it'll be a very interesting offseason.
No, I'm sorry. I had a point. I didn't.
No, that's okay.
But go ahead.
No, that's fine. What was your point?
I just think that nobody has any idea what's going to happen. I think we just got to let things play out, and I think it's going to be a more fun summer than we think because I think there's going to be a lot more trades. Because I've heard picks all the way up to 10 can matter. So I mean, people are really gung ho about this draft class. I think we might see more moves than you're used to because teams are going to get to a point where they realize either we can compete with the Warriors or not even fucking close and we got to start over. And the teams that are not even close and they got to start over, they're going to have to trade some of their guys so they can get draft picks or whatever. And
kind of the Bulls a la Jimmy Butler deal last year.
Yeah.
That sort of situation. Because the Bulls could have been a 6 or a 7 seed again and, done the same old thing.
The Bulls did well for themselves.
The Bulls were actually forward thinking, and I think that you might see that become the trend. Tanking for sure will be a little less incentivized, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as big a deal as because people are like, oh, you can't tank anymore.
Why?
Because they're changing the lottery odds after this year. This is the last year under the current structure. The current odds are you have a 25% chance of the first pick. It's going to be 15% if you're the worst team in the league next year. But it's still going to be your best odds, and you'll still have a 45% chance of getting a top 3 pick. So I still think teams that are way out of it are going to do the same things that they do now.
Yeah.
I don't think that this because currently it's like a 60% chance. Now it'll be 45 of a top 3 pick if you're the worst team. I don't think that 15% difference is going to make teams all of a sudden run their vets out there when they're 12 and 38, in like late January. I don't think you're going to see it make as big a difference. So
some teams,
I understand
some
why.
Teams,
yeah, I understand.
The same team that pays Michael Beasley this offseason.
Yeah, I just like I
20 mil.
I understand. I understand why Adam Silver doesn't want it. I understand why the league doesn't think it's a good look. I understand the whole national television game aspect of it, but I don't think that there's a way of getting around it right now with the league being the way it is. Teams are built for the playoffs, and teams are going to do whatever they need to be successful long term.
You also got to think there's enough regular season games that are good.
Absolutely.
Like as a fan, I get it though. Like I would go out there and support. Like the Bucks were that team for a while before Giannis and Jabari. Like so, and we went to games all the time. Like who cares? Like you got to get through the bad times to get to the good. Like it's a necessary
but you're
sacrifice.
not selling tickets during the bad times is the problem.
But I'm saying you should. Not all teams.
Yeah,
The
there's
Bulls-
Well, yeah, of course,
the
there's
Bulls.
teams, the Bulls,
But-
the Lakers probably.
most teams, though,
Knicks.
it's an issue. But the thing is, it's only a slight issue because that's not where the money is anymore.
I know it's in
Atten-
concessions.
Attendance isn't how you're making your money. We're talking $500 million TV contracts.
Yeah, and people aren't watching you if you're bad.
Well, but you're also not on national TV, so it doesn't matter. You're not part of those games if you're bad.
I was thinking about this for other sports. No other sports have this problem because they don't really have to do this problem. You think about baseball.
Baseball has a weird draft though.
Yeah,
Baseball's
you don't have
You
to
don't
tank
you don't
it.
tank for a guy that's going to be up 4 years from now.
In football, you do.
Football, you're always trying to win because it's only
No.
16 games. You always have to go in there thinking you can win.
Yeah, football you can't tank.
Yeah.
Football you can't tank because people would die. You have to be trying to win.
Yeah, and plus
No, when you put in your secondary quarterback, I'm like, I'm gonna see what this son of a
and
bitch is
plus
all about.
there's so many good players in the football draft that can go at any of the 7 rounds. So
Yeah.
that tanking it doesn't really matter in football. Hockey.
Hockey is very similar to baseball. Guys once in a while guys will play immediately, but most of the time even guys in the top 10 play in the minors for a year or two.
NASCAR.
NASCAR is
There's
not
no
there's
draft.
no draft. So
They don't have a draft in
no,
NASCAR.
there's no NASCAR draft.
They just
I'm
buy
not
their
sure.
owners.
What about Major League Lacrosse? All right, with that, I think that's probably our sign that we've exhausted our resources here for this evening.
Aw.
So, but by the way, before we leave, the
Yeah.
draft, the NBA draft, 9 days away.
Oh,
So,
Nine
that's
days
the unofficial. So I
away.
know it feels, but the off season is upon us. And
We're
in
gonna
9
do a
days-
draft special after.
Yeah, we'll have real things to talk about in 9 days. So I'm pretty excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to this episode of Jabroni Sports. For Trey Montuano, I am AJ Firstenow.
No, you're AJ, not Trey.
For Trey Montuano.
Okay,
That's how
for
you do
Trey.
that. That's
All
how
right.
you. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm Gonzo at Gonzo1323. Check me out on all social media forums. Yeah.
And at GBableFlair producing. Thank you. Hit that like button.
Smash that motherfucking like button.
We'll see you around, Jabronis.